Good afternoon and happy Monday to all of your sunshiny faces, guys. I am getting ready to get into bed. I need to go and take a shower and wash my hair, so pardon my hair. It looks like a hot mess right now. I actually, I babysat today, and it was actually kind of nice, guys, because he came like an hour later at like 8:30 or so, 8:45 I think, which normally he's here at like 7:30, 7:45 or something like that. But Jack actually woke me up before he left for school, and honestly, guys, like I kind of was like in and out of sleep a little bit for like an hour. Like I never really felt fully back asleep, but like just that like extra hour of rest like made all the difference. But I'll say honestly, I think that on the weekends, because I sleep in a little bit more, I'm more refreshed for Monday. And I've noticed that like normally Monday I feel like I have a ton of energy, I'm like just wide awake and all that kind of stuff. And then later throughout the week I get really tired. So like now I am like, don't know for sure if it is because like I said, I was, you know, it was that extra hour I got of rest, or if it was because it's just Mondays, and normally Mondays I feel like because I got to sleep in over the weekend I have like more energy, but then like by like Tuesday, Wednesday, I am like feel exhausted. So this week should be interesting because I'll be babysitting him all week. But we did do a fun project today, guys, a fun science experiment. He actually, he told me, he's like, I love doing science experiments. He's like, if you have any more science experiments, I want to do them. So I have to figure out like, or try and look up like some other kid-friendly science experiments. Honestly, there were a lot of science experiments that I did in like 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. That actually one we did today, I did in 8th grade, and one of the other ones that I actually saw online that was like, oh, this is a good science experiment for like, you know, not toddlers, for like elementary school aged kids, was one that I did in 7th grade. And like for us, we were learning about like osmosis and stuff like that, and so I don't know if, you know, that might be a little over his head, but having him like, you know, just learn about kind of like, you know, different like matter and stuff like that, like he's kind of grasped sort of that like concept. And like today we ended up actually making ice cream, which is you literally take like a gallon sized freezer bag, and I'll give you guys the play-by-play for that. So you take like a gallon sized freezer bag, and then you add, I think, like 4 cups of ice cubes. I used 2 full trays, and it ended up turning out pretty well. And then you add 1/4 of a cup of either rock salt, or like ice cream salt is what I got. I think I showed you guys that yesterday. Or I think you can use kosher salt, but it's supposed to be like the bigger like chunks of salt. And then in a smaller, what I did was I used a sandwich bag. You put 1 cup of milk, 1 teaspoon of vanilla if you want to do vanilla. I think one recipe I read said you could add cocoa instead, but I just went with doing vanilla. And then you add 3 tablespoons, I think 1 teaspoon of vanilla, I don't know if I said teaspoon or tablespoon, and then 3 tablespoons of salt, of sugar to the sandwich bag. And the milk is supposed to be 1 full cup of whole milk, or I think you can use half and half, or cream or something like that. We had whole milk, so that's what we ended up using. And so then you put that bag inside of the other bag. Now what I did was, because what I read from like a lot of like other like tutorials on how to do it, was that you should like be careful, because when you actually open the Ziploc bag, you might wind up with some of the salt and or like ice that is on, you know, the outside of the bag from like, you know, the lip of the, you know, Ziploc part. And so what I ended up doing was put that sandwich bag then inside of another quart size freezer bag. The freezer bags are thicker and so they're a little bit better to like, so they don't like rip or, you know, tear or anything like that. And then basically you mix it for, we ended up doing it for 20 minutes. I think you're supposed to do it between 10 to 15, but he kind of kept stopping and shaking it because, like, you know, he was getting tired. And so I was like, do you want me to do it? And then I do it for like 5 minutes or something like that, and then he'd be like, okay, I want to do it again. And so I gave him gloves to wear too, because that was one of the things, like, it does get pretty cold, so like to wear gloves, or he was using a dish towel, and that it does get there's a lot of condensation on it too, but you know, so it gets kind of wet. But you just mix it, like I said, for, you know, however long. Like I said, it's normally probably anywhere from like 10 to 20 minutes, and then you have like semi ice cream. It was honestly pretty good. I think ours was a little bit more liquidy, but it turned out actually pretty well. So that was really awesome. And like I said, this was a project I remember doing when I was in 8th grade, and it was so awesome because, you know, you get to eat the science experiment afterwards. So he actually, he said he liked chocolate ice cream, but I was like, okay, since we didn't make chocolate ice cream, do you want, we had chocolate syrup and sprinkles, and he was like, oh yes, I totally want that. So that's what he ended up having, and I got to taste a little bit of it, and my mom and Matthew also got to taste some. But it was really good, and he actually said he really liked it, which he has said he is a picky eater, and he's told me that a lot. His mom actually brings his food because he is kind of more of a picky eater, and so I was like, I wonder if he's actually gonna like trying it, you know, or anything like that, because he was like, oh yeah, I like ice cream, but I was like, I don't know if he's gonna like homemade ice cream. I don't know if he's gonna like, you know, the texture of it. I didn't know if he was gonna like, you know, that it was vanilla and not chocolate, but he was like, this is such good ice cream. So yeah, it's honestly too, guys, it's like once you have homemade ice cream though, like the store-bought, or like, you know, the fast, you know, you go to Dunkin' Donuts, or, you know, well, ours is a Dunkin' Donuts Baskin Robbins, so if I'm ever saying Dunkin' Donuts, I'm meaning Baskin Robbins, you know, like that, or like Oberweis, or like Dairy Queen, or, you know, something like that. It's just, it doesn't taste the same as like homemade ice cream. I know that there is a for the Keurig is actually an attachment, like the base stand, and what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to freeze the bowl, so it's actually like a bowl that snaps into your did I say Keurig? I think I meant KitchenAid. Your KitchenAid mixer. I think I did say Keurig. Sorry guys, I'm like, you know, I was totally awake and had a ton of energy today because obviously we got to these projects and experiments and all this stuff, but I must be really tired because I keep saying the wrong stuff. Anyways, so it's a bowl that you can attach to your KitchenAid mixer. What you do is you're supposed to like freeze the bowl ahead of time, and then you add in your, you know, ingredients or whatever, and then as it mixes, it freezes the ice cream or something like that, I think is how it's supposed to work, because the bowl's already cold. It's like an insulated, specifically, you know, this type of ice cream bowl for the KitchenAid. And so I've been like wanting to get it so bad because I think homemade ice cream just tastes amazing. Me and Matthew actually used to go to this this farm that's like near our house, and like you can just go there. It's kind of like a old, like a reenactment kind of farm sort of thing, but basically like everybody that works there like dresses in period clothes, and you know, they do like, they might have like a cookie thing that they make out in like the summer kitchen or something like that. It's kind of like pioneer time and stuff like that. So anyways, they had like a summer program that me and my cousins went to, and Matthew, and they would make homemade ice cream, you know, like the way you actually have to like sit on the, you know, it was like a tub or whatever, and there was ice in there, and you actually have to do crank the ice cream to make the, you know, or to make the ice cream. I remember also doing that too once at, I want to say it was somebody's house, like some family member's house, and I remember it was a bucket thing that, you know, you had to crank, and all of us kids were doing it, but by that time we were like so totally exhausted that one of the adults, because we were all like real little, like, again, I don't even know whose house we were at. I had to have been like 4 or something like that. or younger. I don't even think Matthew is born, but I just remember, like, so all me and my cousins are right around the same age, right? So we all probably like 4 or 5 year olds and stuff like that. And I remember, like, finally we were probably only doing it for like a minute or something like that. Whoever the adult was that was doing it with us, I had to finally, you know, just keep cranking it because we were all too tired to keep going. So I remember doing that, like making homemade ice cream, but I think it just tastes so much better. It tastes so pure, and it tastes so like rich and dairy, you know, and like creamy and stuff like that. And there's not all that added preservatives and stuff like that. I mean, it's pretty basic. It's milk, sugar, and vanilla, you know. It is really up to you what ingredients you're adding to it, you know, and stuff like that. And so instead of buying it from, like, you know, a grocery store, or, you know, another store or something like that, you know, you don't really know what is in it. You put it in your own ice cream, and like I said, I just personally think it tastes like a million times better. I love it. I really like probably Dairy Queen right now. Their cotton candy blizzards are like my favorites, but they're only around in summertime. But other than that, I'm not a huge, like, there's not one kind of ice cream. I like vanilla across the board, but there isn't really like one kind of ice cream that I like constantly, you know, just come back to, that, you know, I always get this, or, you know, something like that. It's like I said, it's homemade ice cream. I like just the creaminess and the flavor and taste of it, you know, and stuff like that. Like I said, it doesn't taste like super sweet, or just like, you know, I could keep eating it and feel like I'm not getting sick. Whereas like if I ate like something from like a different store or something like that, I feel like I can only eat so much before I'm like, ugh, I feel like I'm gonna be sick, you know. But anyways, yeah, so that was our fun project today. I think we might actually be going to go see a movie, but other than that, I'm trying to figure out what other projects we can do. Like I said, there was one that I did in 7th grade that you're supposed to take like an egg and dissolve it in vinegar, and basically it strips like the eggshell off, and it just leaves like the membrane, so it feels like jelly kind of. And you can actually add corn syrup then and leave it soak in the corn syrup, and then it turns into, the corn syrup then ends up going into the egg. And so it's like, I don't know if that was the whole project that I was looking up, but I remember doing that in, like I said, in 7th grade, and that's because we were learning about like osmosis and stuff. So the corn syrup ended up actually like going into the egg, if that makes sense. I remember that one too, and that was one of the ones I saw on Pinterest when I was looking today. And there's a couple other ones too that I thought would be cool. Like you can take actually celery sticks, and you can do different food coloring, like leave them in a cup of water with different color food coloring, and then the you know, because the stalk will still absorb the water, so you can see the color in like the veins from the fruit, from the celery. So that was another one I thought we could do too that I think he'd like. But he really likes like doing science experiments. So, and they're like really inexpensive ones too. Like it's 99 cents for like celery, you know. It's not like a crazy expensive, like we have to buy all these special things to do this stuff. It's easy, you know, DIY at home kind of fun science experiments that he really likes. So that's something that I know I can kind of keep him entertained. Like I said, the ice cream one took us a really long time to make the ice cream, and then we got to enjoy it though afterwards. So anyways guys, I will see you all in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give it a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye guys.